shuts every one of them down. That's a full team kill.
He's looking for third. He's gonna get it.
Against Kinger now in a 1 versus 2. Once again, he finds one. He finds the second. He's still alive. Can he go in?
Oh my
God.
goodness.
He's gonna go bar down and give Saints the lead again.
Welcome everybody to game number 2 here on the channel. We saw St. Clair up against Bay State taking their first loss of the season here in the Overwatch Collegiate Championship. But now we have game number 2 against Worcester Polytechnic Institute, and I'm joined now by Jackson Deprived Brown for game number 2. You excited to see St. Clair and how they can bounce back here in game 2?
Yeah, I'm very, very excited to see. I heard it was quite the tough one. They're up against Bay State here for our 1 p.m. game in the Overwatch Collegiate Championship Series. So they are going to look to turn things around here now in game number 2, like you said, against WPI. And it's not going to be easy still, right? No. You come into this week, every team is 2-0 that you are going to be playing against. That means there are no sleepers, right? You have no teams that are, might have been pushed over a little bit in the week 1s. Every team coming in here at a very similar skill level, and it's going to prove to be a difficulty for both these teams here today.
Yeah, I think the fact that you have a Swiss bracket makes things so much more interesting because it means your competition that you're facing is going to be tougher as the weeks progress. It means that maybe at the beginning of the season you have a lot of lopsided games, but as we move forward in the season, we are going to be seeing a lot more competitive ones. But apparently these two teams very, very evenly matched. We should see a banger of a series here. St. Clair seeing if they can bounce back after a tough loss there in game number 1.
Yeah, and see, we really don't know how WPI played in their first game of today either, which is one thing that's really interesting because we know that St. Clair and WPI both come into this week 2-0. However, we only know that St. Clair lost in their last game 3-0 to Bay State, 2-0, sorry, but they didn't really get to see how WPI was playing here in their last game today, so it's going to be very interesting to see everything overall. JDX will start us off taking down our junk. Cheesy, though, looking to mech their Diva Fried Chicken, going to come through, finding Bailable and Apostle. And that is going to hurt St. Clair. They are looking to regroup as Worcester is looking to find this initial capture.
Yeah, and actually I was going to point, we see 12 different heroes here to start us off. So very, very different team compositions for both these teams. But we see Nev going to take out G-Skills there, and that is going to seal up the point there. Worcester going to be able to start moving forward here in this point. And St. Clair, I think it was a pretty tough loss. There was a lot of points. They only ended up getting 1 control point at any time. And, it is Bay State, so your expectations aren't that high. But it definitely could be a bounce back here in Bailable. Finding Spike Ball was a nice pick. That's going to be more ult coming through as well. Seeing if they can heal up. Transcendence going to be popped as well. A lot of ults being used here, but Apostle going to be able to get Fried Chickenated here in this fight. JDX going to trade back onto Ubel, though. We'll be able to get that one through. Bailable going to find 1 G-Skills as well. 2 healers are both going to be down there. That means that the side of Worcester are going to have to try and back off here. And St. Clair are going to finally be able to claim this point.
Yeah, it's going to all work out there for St. Clair after that team wipe did come through. And it's really good for St. Clair on that first push, actually, that they made, that they fell off when they did, instead of just continuously trying to hammer onto that hard point, or control point, sorry. As it is now going to be St. Clair ticking up and looking to even up this one a little bit. Worcester will get their team grouped up. They have a couple ults here. We do see Neon use his. Spike Ball going to come through with the ult as well. JDX finding Apostle. Now going to make this one a little bit in favor of WPI here now, as JDX is good for 2. Ubel going down. All these supports from St. Clair are dropping like flies, just like Bailable right there now will be out of this one. And it's going to be heavily contested in the favor of WPI. All just being stopped by the Diva being Cheesy. And it's not going to be long until Cheesy falls, and they are looking to stop this contest. But Apostle is here now to slow things down. And right now, St. Clair is really just doing a good job of getting these contested points.
Neon is going to get G-Skills. Though Bailable, the nice pulse bomb, is going to find 2 there. Able to clear off the point Worcester, and Worcester now hasn't been able to quite secure it, and means St. Clair will be able to hold on to it and keep this percentage going. A really big play there by Cheesy to hold on to that until the reinforcements could arrive, and St. Clair able to use those ultimates that they couldn't because of Spike Ball's EMP. And that means they were able to overturn this point and keep this percentage going. Absolutely huge. They're already at 70%.
Yeah, it really works out. I mean, I didn't have a crazy amount of faith when there was one person contesting against 5 players from WPI, but it all works out in the end of the day for St. Clair. They use their support reinforcements very, very well, but JDX and Nev will come through for a few for Worcester here now, and this can make things some problems as Cheesy is going to be just getting flooded out on site, will be demeched, instantly falling after being demeched. We do see a last-second contest come in here now, and that is going to be from Apostle, but Apostle will fall nice and quick, and that is going to be WPI able to retake this control point here now for the second time in this game, but St. Clair is able to get 93% here on it.
Yeah, they definitely made a good dent here. If they can get one more push, I don't know if they'll be able to quite clean it up 100%, but they will be able to get to that 99% marker. At least they do have a couple of ults available here. Arjunk with their Transcendence and G-Skills with the Deadeye, so they do have an opportunity here if they can find it, try and push down a point. They think a lot of high ground taken up here by Worcester. St. Clair going to want to contest him on that one, trying to bait out for the Deadeye here. G-Skill's going to pop it, see if he can catch anyone with it. Not going to hit anyone, but Apostle is going to fry Chickinator in the process. Still going to try and hold it, but doesn't manage to find anyone with that ultimate quite yet. Apostle going to have his ult up here in a second as well, so mine's going to come through on the site. A big Lucian, or a big ult there by Lucio is going to stop a lot. A EMP is going to be able to hack a lot of players from St. Clair. You with the ult available, Neon going to get bailable. Possible to trade back on a JDX. Fire Chickinator going to find G-Skills as well. So trades coming out here. Spike Ball is going to get a Apostle. That really is going to make the difference. So that means St. Clair going to have to back off this one for a second. No, maybe not. Cheesy going to get Glustinator, and the ult is available here as well. Self-destruct going to be popped. Is going to find Neon on point as well. You will still here going to be able to pop the rally, try and keep his teammates alive here, able to get another kill, and St. Clair might actually be turning this one around, be able to clean this one up here at 99%.
Well, they have to. It's overtime here now for Worcester. This is your last chance. If you can recapture it, it does look like you will. G-Scales fighting those last couple picks will allow St. Clair to regain. But if you're WPI, you got to come back and you got to get back here quick, because St. Clair's already at the 99% marker here now, and now they're forcing overtime on you. You have to come in and hop this point too. You will get 1 second contested. Now everybody from the side of WPI will be hopping onto this point. Do we see Glizzcor's Diva Bomb come through here? No, we see a Nev ult come in. Fried Chicken will be ulting, and now the Glizzcore Diva Bomb will be dropping in as well, trying to use whatever they can to knock St. Clair off this point. Cheesy, good for one. Nevin, Fried Chicken for trades. JDX gonna find one more on Ubel as well, leaving it all up to Apostle, Bailable, and Cheesy here now, but it is not looking like it is working out too well. Bailable is able to trade one back out, but Cheesy in the process is going to be now getting demeched, and we are only up to G-Scales and Arjunk here. They are fighting to keep this one alive. It has been turned over now in favor of Worcester, and they have gotten the full 100% and secured on that first control point.
A really good contest there by St. Clair, but a key EMP for Spike Ball. Able to catch a couple members, and a good hack onto the Reinhardt shield really made the difference, and that one was able to get through to the backline at that 99% fight. And that was a difference maker. There was a couple ults that Worcester had. St. Clair just didn't have access to the ults because they had to use them to stop them at the 99% marker originally to flip that point. So just a little bit better ult economy by Worcester, but overall St. Clair putting up a really, really good fight there. Despite the fact that they might have not been looking so great in the second half of that one, they were able to make a little bit of a comeback there and almost take map number 1, but it means map number 2 are going to be another highly contested one.
It's really interesting because in that point there, we saw St. Clair more going for these single-person contests and wait for the team to come and regroup with you rather than everybody falling off and regrouping. Now, I'm wondering if that's something they've been working on a little bit in the back end and something they're going to try to use more in their gameplay. But regardless, it didn't work out too bad. It was a 99% loss there on that round 1, and they're looking to turn things around here now. And I'm expecting a full-on good game ever since we see that first control point come through. It's going to be Apostle and Cheesy going to go for a little bit of trades here, but Spikeball once again with some big plays, going to find a couple for himself as Apostle will fall as well. And this is really going to force St. Clair out of this one, leaving it all up to Cheesy and G-Skills over here. But it's not really going to last too long as G-Skills is now just firing away from a distance. This control point has been captured by Worcester here now, and they are looking to get this one ticking.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bailable going down there means that is kind of going to be free here so far for the Doomfist. Spikeball able to do whatever he wants without that flashbang available means that he doesn't really have anyone to stop him. Widow going to come through really early on here. Shatter going to be able to find one, but not going to be able to find anything else there for Apostle. Bailable and Apostle are going to find picks for themselves now, though. Apostle with a nice fire strike onto Fried Chickinator there. Neon going to go down as well. G-Scale is finding 2 picks for himself, but St. Clair will flip this point at about 30%.
Yeah, it's going to be working out perfectly. Like a flawless retake almost coming through from St. Clair on that point. It's going to, force Worcester now to regroup, wait on their back end, and wait for all those reinforcements to come in. As you do see them looking to push through, but St. Clair is getting fairly pushed up here as well, inflicting damage right as soon as they walk out of their spawn. This is a little bit risky for St. Clair and very, very aggressive, so let's see how it does work out. G-Scales is going to be at the back line, hitting some nice shots here with his bow and arrow. And on the Hanzo there.
Nice absorb. Was able to get that one with the Diva absorb, able to take in that dragon because that would have done so much damage. Deadeye not going to find anyone. Yubel going to get JDX before he can actually pop that one, but in the meanwhile, the rest of Worcester doing a lot of good work here, able to clean up the rest of the members of St. Clair. There is going to be this Lucio still alive, a Spike Ball able to get that down. Diva ult going to come through, going to be able to catch Neon actually with it, so St. Clair still managing to hold on to this point. Spike Ball going to find Cheesy before he can remech though. That's going to make life even tougher. Window going to come out yet again for this Baptiste. Nev able to clean up Apostle, and they will be able to take that point.
Yeah, I mean, St. Clair, they did get at least that 50% ticked on it here now, but Worcester's immediately answering back, and it's not going to take a long time for them to regain the lead here on this control point. St. Clair is going to want to retake this one and retake it here now, unless they want to be forced into one of those overtime positions once again, as JDX will come through and finds Arjunk. That is not the start you are looking for. Trying to turn things around is Bailable, taking down JDX. Yubel, though, will get Diva bombed off of the site, and that is one of the major supports already gone for St. Clair, looking to try to turn this one around. It looks as if actually St. Clair is going to slow down the suppressor and try to wait for some regrouping to happen. Apostle's close to an ult. Yubel, G-Scales, and Arjunk all have their ults. Bailable's close to his ult. Like, this could work very, very well for St. Clair if they're waiting for these ults.
Yeah, they are going to have a little bit of a second here to try and pop through. Window going to be available. Dragon going to come through. Not going to find anyone with it, though. St. Clair going to whiff a couple of ults there. Bailable going to find Spike Ball, though. That is absolutely massive. Flash going to come through. Arjunk going to find Trickinator. And if they can keep rolling here, Cheesy getting Glide Score and Available fighting JDX, it means they can get this point without wasting too many ults. So yeah, they will still have 3 ults available here, and they were able to retake that point. And G-Scales with a very quickly scaling ult as well means they will be able to hold this defense pretty well so far, because only 2 ults available here for Worcester means they're not going to be as dangerous.
Yeah, that's exactly the case here. Now it is going to be some ults looking to get popped out by Worcester, being Spike Ball here as well. Apostle, though, will start us off nicely. Cheesy following it up with some more of his own as well. This is going very good for St. Clair. Gliscor and JDX are the only ones to answer back there finally with a nice headshot on the G-Scales, but Cheesy taking out Spike Ball is going to be one of those major players from WPI already out of this one for the fight, and it is going to be St. Clair looking to force them back here. Now look at them. They're still just way back in their spawn. St. Clair doing an excellent job here of inflicting this early damage and not allowing Worcester Polytechnic to get any more control on the map than needed.
This has to be a huge ult here from Cheesy, because he's the only one that has it available here. Arjunk maybe with the window soon. Diva Substruct going to come out. Fried Chicken Egg going to possible with one, but going to answer back here. Going down. Main tanks both down for both teams. Spikeball going to find Arjunk. JDX going down as well. Neon going to find Yubel Lucio on Lucio there. Is able to find that pick. Somehow, Nev going to be eliminated over Available, and that means he has the Deadeye. Can he pop it here before he goes down? Overtime, 99% here. All going to come through for Lucio, trying to keep his team alive. Glad we're going to find G-Scales as well. I think that means that Worcester going to get the advantage here, but St. Clair still going to be on the point. Fried Chickinator able to clear him off, and they will be able to control it now. 90%. St. Clair going to have to try and contest here. Available does have the Deadeye of up, but St. Clair needs someone to come and contest here. They need someone to hop onto this point. G-Scales with the Tracer. We'll be dashing on here in just a second. We'll be able to pop that overtime. Deadeye available as well. Shield going to be popped up here. Can he find anyone with this ult? No.
Yeah, it's going to be him just looking and searching there as overtime is on the board here now. The contest is in for St. Clair to try to, mess with this one here now. But Bailable is going to be fighting one, but immediately traded out from Spike Ball. Nev good for one as well. This is going to make things very difficult on St. Clair with only these last few players left. G-Scales is just trying to keep this one contested at this point in time, but it is not an easy task. And they're just battling around this point here. Somehow he is still around. G-Scales will fall. Cheesy's going to get demeched, and Cheesy will fall here as well. That will be overtime coming to an end, and it will be WPI finding game number 1 of this Overwatch series here now in 2-0 fashion.
That's tough, too. It's got to be tough for St. Clair, because that's 2 99-99s that you ended up losing, right? It's 2 very, very winnable control points that you just, in that last fight, the difference was both times the ult economy, right? You saw both times Worcester had 2 or 3 ults available. St. Clair with just one that ended up whiffing, and it really was the difference maker, because if you have even a support ult there, it makes a huge difference, because that DPS ult, the tank ult, isn't nearly as effective. But because you don't have that available to you, it means that you lose that 99% fight, and you end up losing the game. And going down 0-1 now.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking to lose your first 2 games or first 2 rounds like that. Just 1% and it changes everything. But I think it really does show how evenly matched these two teams are so far here in this matchup. That going forward in this next map or so, that we could be seeing a lot more of overtime positions and things like that coming to life. Just because of how close these teams are balanced here right now. I mean, it doesn't not get closer than 199 to 199. I mean, yeah, maybe if St. Clair wins 199 of their own choosing. But regardless, it's very, very close matchup here now, and it's going to be St. Clair really trying to answer back on this game number 2, but if they don't, WPI comes through away with a win. That's the problem right now. St. Clair is in a must-win situation, and I think it's really going to try to encourage them to try even harder. I just hope that their momentum isn't hurt from, a 2-0 to Bay State, and then now WPI up 1-0. I think that they just got to regain mentally and try to come into this new game as a clean slate.
Yeah, I definitely think the fact that these two controls were so close, they're both 199s, you can't say, okay, maybe Escort and Hybrid are more prominent game modes, and this is where we can kind of step up and make our plan and put it into action, because really Control was very flippy. It was 99 with pretty close fights, so I think going into, I believe Escort will be the next one on Rialto, I think it's going to mean that St. Clair going to be feeling good about it. We'll see. It is going to be a lot of major swaps here on characters, because you kind of have to on this map. There's a lot of flexibility. Me and Dan were talking about it. You can play the fly, you can play the Fire Mercy, you can play the snipers. You're going to see G-Scales opting for the Ash here, and we see a lot of different stuff. We see Spikeball actually picking up the Widow as well, and JDX on the Hanzo. So a lot of long-range sniping that looks like it's going to be going on this map.
I'm surprised we're not seeing the Fire Mercy from St. Clair. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think it is
it's good, though, because they
they're on offense. Okay, no. I bet you Fire Mercy comes out on defense. Fire Mercy for St. Clair will come out on defense, and or if it doesn't, I hope it does, because honestly, the Ubel Balebal combo over here on the Fire Mercy is absolutely unreal. Balebal is so good at ducking and weaving between these buildings and finding so much damage here on several players at one time. So I'd really be interested to see that come through here now. But it does look like we have Worcester looking to go for a little bit of an aggressive hold here now, but it slowly is falling off. St. Clair's actually doing a great job of moving this payload early on. Do you know how hard it is to get it through that corridor? And they just did it with ease.
Yeah, I think the fact that you have Zarya Winston here makes such a huge difference, because with the Sigma Orisa that Worcester has, it means that you can't really take a lot of mobile fights. You kind of have to pick your position and stick to it. The double shield's very effective against a team like this, but not really doing too much here. Already the point pushed very far forward. Neon and JDX going to find some picks, though. Means that St. Clair going to have to try and back off here for a while, try and preserve Cheesy's charge here, try and keep it at around 100 would be optimal. He is trying to get as little poke as he can, but yeah, you see he's at 100 right now. Just going to try and maintain that until the rest of his team comes back into this fight.
Yeah, that's exactly the case here right now, as we do see Apostle from above looking to try to get a lot of this damage here onto these players from down below, and he is going to look to go for a little bit of a peek here now, but immediately just getting sprayed at. Now, this is the problem right now. Worcester Polytechnic has so much control just in the middle. St. Clair's trying to challenge from all these different angles on the side, but it's not working out too well, because they're just so set up in that middle on the payload here right now that it's going to be very difficult for St. Clair to even come in there and find a pick. But they need to find one kill, or a Diva Bomb would be very big, something along those lines. Lots of ults coming through for St. Clair. Dragons there. G-Scales will find 2 with the Dragons. Apostle available. Gonna find a few as well. This is a full team wipe for St. Clair. The payload is moving, and they are making progress.
Yeah, you can see those ult percentages for Worcester there. 90, 99, 82. Just didn't have any kind of support. St. Clair able to pop the Winston ult as well as the Dragons through meant that they were able to take that point really cleanly, and it means they can keep pushing through here, because Balebal still with the Pulse Bomb can look for a pick here. Not quite going to pop it just yet, will go down, but it does mean that St. Clair, with that ult available, will be able to keep moving forward, and Zarya ult coming up soon should be a good combo here for St. Clair to try and push through this very, very difficult stairwell point.
Yeah, we will see. I mean, at this point, they're just moving this payload along to at least get it to the stairwell right now. But G-Scales up from above, trying to inflict so much damage with this bow and arrow, and it's working. Every single shot pretty much connecting here right now. But there's just healers sitting behind this doorway. But Balebal will send in some util to help out and take down Fried Chickenator early on. That's a 5-player kill streak actually for himself as well. Nev going to be fairly tagged down here now, forcing him to fall off of this play. The Dragons are coming in, and that could really inflict some damage, but it's not going to make too much of an impact. Glizzcore will take down Ubel, and now we got ourselves in a 6-on-4 in favor of Worcester.
I think it's Gliscor actually. You know, like the
Gliscor?
Pokemon?
Oh,
Gliscor?
hey, Dan's
Yeah,
pointing at
see,
you,
I
so
got
I guess you're right.
So it is going to be him finding a few picks here. Zarya still at 100 charge, though. Absolutely huge for Cheesy. Means he will be dishing out quite a bit of damage still here. Will be able to preserve it, staying behind these boxes, waiting for his team to come through. Mercy is now on the table for Yubel, actually. So a little bit of a swap there, trying to get some extra damage maybe into G-Scales here on these arrows, trying to find some backline protection here. G-Scale is going to try and pop forward here, and the res is going to be very, very important, especially on this point, right? Because you have so much momentum moving forward. You want to keep this attack going. G-Scale is going to find Fried Chickenator here. The Orisa going down, but JDX with a trade onto Apostle. Both shields are going to be down here for a second. Cheesy going to find Nev, though. Cheesy going to find Neon as well. That beam doing so much damage. Bailable going to take down JDX. Yubel with the res onto Apostle, and that means St. Clair going to clean this one up and claim point number 2 here on Escort.
I'm really happy to see Yubel switch over to a Mercy. I think it better suits him as a player, and it better suits this map as a whole. So I'm really happy to see that one come through. I also think he's going to stick on the Mercy going into the defending side as well. So I think it's just good to get a little bit warmed up on it or something like that. But yeah, it is going to be JDX able to take down G-Scales in this one. So, or actually, yeah, we'll take him down. So it's going to make things a little bit more difficult for St. Clair off their initial push. But they've already gotten so much progress. And look at the clock, John. 3.5 minutes is an unreal amount of time here to still allow this one to come through.
Yeah, as long as Cheesy can keep up this charge as well, keep that 100 beam available. Nice nano actually to catch 3 people here, but the Immortality Field going to come down, going to save him for the moment. Spikeball going to find Apostle as well, but Rez going to come through for Yubel, so it means Apostle will be back in this fight momentarily. A couple ults available. Dragon's going to come through, not going to catch anyone quite yet. JDX, nice headshot on the Cheesy though. Means St. Clair is going to be forced to back off here in just a second. And unfortunately, that's really bad because for St. Clair, they had so much good momentum going forward, especially with Cheesy being at 100 ult charge, are doing really, really well. But now he's going to swap off into the Diva, actually. So a little bit of a change here on this final point.
Yeah, we will see how this one does work out, as it is going to be JDX from above, just trying to use the Hanzo to the best of his ability here right now. But regardless of that being said, yeah, I completely agree. When they had the momentum, it would have been easier, because now you're re-breaking a new wall of defense from Worcester that's set up and prepared for you to come, rather than St. Clair, who already had them pushed back in their spawn, all grouped up together, and things like that. So now St. Clair will be looking to come in here now, and we actually do see WPI fall off a little bit here, and I don't agree with WPI for that play. I feel like at that point in time, you stand your ground. You stay up front. You stay in front of that payload. Why do you want to be trapped back in your spawn? You really don't. But JDX does, apparently. That's going to be 2 for him. Yubel and G-Scales both falling.
Yeah, they had to try and deal with the threat of that Deadeye from the Cassidy, but JDX was able to find the flank, able to get a couple nice headshots off with the Storm Arrows. And it does mean that Cheesy on the little mech will be stuck here. Will be trying to remech, but won't be able to do it, and it will be taken out here. So St. Clair gonna have to try and re-break this one. 2 minutes remaining now for them to try and do it, and no ults available quite yet for anybody there. So it looks like we will be getting a little bit of a window here before they decide. And you can see a little bit of hesitation here. They're just waiting, seeing, okay, is this the team comp we want to run here? We are gonna get Arjunk swapping over onto the Baptiste here. G-Scale's actually going to the May. So a couple of swaps here, seeing if they can try and break through with this new team comp.
Yeah, we will see here for sure now, as it is going to be their first effort
Nice
diving in, but there's no ults, and that's something to really point out here. Beautiful wall, yes, for sure. Going to allow this payload to get at least moved a little bit closer here now. It's actually going to make its way onto the little bit of the final stretch. Spikeball, one of the only players here to actually make an impact. Apostle and Bailable going so big. Cheesy, he's going to find one. Arjunk will find Spikeball. This payload is moving, and it's moving quick. St. Clair is able to move that payload and take all 3 points here on round number 1 with a minute and 17 still remaining on the clock as well. So, yes, you'd like maybe a little bit more time left on the clock, but I'd still call that a very successful round.
Yeah, you saw there a wonderful shatter by Apostle. You can always rely on him for those crucial shatters in those moments when you need him. And got 2 with the fire strike at the end as well. So absolutely beautiful stuff from Apostle. Able to break in, and with a little bit of a different composition, they were able to find that that win, right? And you saw that Worcester was kind of the same spot as St. Clair, right? They didn't have any ults available. So when the defense tried to come through, St. Clair, a nice Meg wall, did force someone to move forward there. I don't remember who it was, but it was the difference maker, because when you found that pick, you were able to get that enough ult charge for the Reinhardt to move through, able to get that shatter down, and that meant that you were able to break through and find that point number 3. And now, with Worcester on the offensive, yeah, we are going to see, you're right, St. Clair going for the Far Mercy here to start us off, and we are going to see a Far Mercy out of Worcester as well. So both these teams are going to be raining rockets from above onto everyone here. But St. Clair with this Ashe instead of the Tracer, I think, will be able to deal with it significantly better.
The Pharah Mercy is defender-sided, in my opinion, right now. Like, yes, obviously, a Pharah Mercy can have so much utilization on the offense as well, but with how the buildings are set up, with Worcester having to actually push the point, and you can't really push the point from high in the sky, is something to really keep an eye on, right? Because now St. Clair, look at available, immediately sent up over top of those left side buildings, and is now going to be trying to inflict so much damage. Rockets are just raining in on them early on, and look at that available already starting off. I love this combo so much. It's probably my favorite combo in Overwatch.
Yeah, definitely going to be tough here. And you see now the Pharah Mercy is going to be looking at each other, trying to take each other down. No one quite able to find the other yet, but I think the beginning of this is going to be a lot of this Pharah Mercy trying to find each other, trying to find the opposite team's Mercy, because if you can take down that Mercy, the Pharah will go down as well. And if you can't win that fight in the air, it's going to be tough. Available actually going to find JDX. In the meanwhile, though, Pharah from Worcester going to sneak behind Spikeball, trying to get anything he can down here. We'll be able to get a lot of damage through. Not able to find any picks just yet. Somehow G-Skill's going to have to try and find this pick. We'll be able to survive. Cool. The moment, no, Spikeball actually going to even there, but Available going to get a dunk on a Spikeball there right on top of his head, and that means that will force him back off at the moment. We're going to res G-Skills as well. Means that St. Clair going to take a little bit of an advantage here, able to hold this defense for quite a while on this corner.
Yeah, at this point in time, St. Clair had already moved out of this corridor here right now, which is what I was really pointing on earlier on St. Clair's offense about how important it was to move it out of that area so quickly, because now it's going to give the side of Worcester some problems here. Fried Chickenator will open things up as he does take down G-Scales, and we do see some more damage coming down here as well. This should allow the payload to get moved on a little bit forwards with all these picks coming through, but still, it's a lot of the time that's already been burned off the clock here for St. Clair is doing a great job for themselves, but the point will be moving here now, and St. Clair is forced to regroup as everybody did fall, but a great opening round, and nice. Bailable in the Mercy doing a lot of work, but they're doing a great job of shutting Bailable down here now after he does find 2 picks on a Nev and the Spikeball.
That was really good value there on that barrage. Bailable will be swapping over to the Tracer now because Worcester bringing out the Soldier as well as JDX on the Sniper there was making a huge difference. G-Skills actually going to take it down there by a Gliscor. They will pop the Orisa ultimate here, but there will be a flank of the Winston Fried Chickenator trying to get behind them here, trying to take out that Orisa ult, but won't be able to find anything. Tracer v Tracer available, going to get that health pack. Will be backing off here, but he's going to be collapsed on by a couple people. Will be able to survive here. St. Clair still holding the line. This objective quite close to where they need to get it, but no advantage just yet. These teams trying to find any kind of opening they can. GDX with nice headshot available is a good start. Self-destruct to come through for Gliscor. Not going to catch anyone though. Immortality Field will go down. Fried Chickenator will find one with the Rampage though, and Sheezy going down means that St. Clair not going to be able to hold this one. It will go over to Worcester. Yeah, it's going to be Ardruk just deciding to take his own life off the map there just to try to regroup here with the rest of the team. But regardless of that being said, I mean, WPI now off to a little bit better of a start. You know, initially it was a little bit more difficult for them to take it around that initial corridor. But since then, it has been all WPI absolutely moving on in full force. You do see the staircase, and this is now where the next kind of difficult point is where to overcome. So we'll see how good St. Clair can defend this, but it's not looking good early on. WPI is so much damage inflicted on all these 5 players, just all backed up on the stairs here now. Apostle just trying to tank as much of this damage as he can, but he's going to fall, and that is all 5 members for St. Clair going down. G-Scales all that's left, and he's going to drop as well. That is a full team wipe for WPI, and this payload is moving, John. Yeah, that was really good coordination by Worcester there. You saw the rally be popped by Ubel there, but unfortunately, it just didn't last long enough for them to survive the dive that Worcester had for them. You had the Tracer come in there doing so much damage. Fried Chickenator had a lot of damage with the Nano as well. It means that St. Clair are going to have to try and respect it here. Going to have to try and respect this Winston, because Winston again has a Rampage Bomb going to come through. Cheesy going to live because of the Immortality Field. Apostle going to take down Fried Chickenator as well, so it will be St. Clair with a small advantage here. Orisa ult going to be popped as well. Means they will force Worcester all the way back off this point. So only 1 pick came through, but it did force the whole team off, and now you're in a difficult position if you're Worcester, right? We talked about this corner, how hard it is to actually get around onto this point, and this is now going to be where you have to try and push through if you're Worcester.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? St. Clair is doing a good job of not at least allowing the second secure point to come on as well, because that would also add more time for WPI. So anything that St. Clair can do right now to stop this control point right here, right now, it will be good. Spike Ball going for a little bit of a cheeky payload move to try to maybe get that capture, but St. Clair will be all over that one. G-Skills also on the Tracer will not be allowing any of that Tracer nonsense to come through like this again. Spike Ball, what are you doing over here, man? Why are you trying to move this payload payload all by your lonesome. G-Skills will be here to spot you out, and that is now going to be St. Clair with a player advantage on this fight, and it does look like WPI now starting to struggle a little bit more over towards this building side.
You have to have him go do that, though, because as long as he's at least pushing it a little bit, you have to have that tracer. You see, somehow this, like, G-Skills has his ult. He wants to be able to push up, get those bursts down onto Worcester, but if Tracer keeps hopping onto this point, if they somehow find a way to get this in, you see right here, Spikeball keeps going for this, and he has to do this because the problem with this corner is that St. Clair can hold this for as long as possible, but if you can somehow get them off of this corner by Spikeball just going in, yeah, see, you see everyone just going to jump off here. They have to try something new, right? Like, you have St. Clair with 4 ultimates now available. Like, there's no way that team company is going to be able to get through, and they just want to go for a reset, try and figure out what they want to do. They have a minute, so they have at least 1 or 2 more pushes, but they're going to have to try and find some answer because right now St. Clair just completely blanking them at this second point.
Yeah, look at this. Look how much damage G-Skill does just on the initial push. I mean, that's like 6 shots that are all just initially connecting and doing so much damage. Glizzcord, though, going to have a big D.Va bomb on our junk there. Nev going to try to do some damage as well, but G-Skills will take down JDX, at least evening up these numbers ever so slightly. Yubel on a little bit of an ult here now as well, and trying to find any healing or any support as he can. But with that being said, it's looking like a WPI, this new comp, looking to come together a little bit stronger as they are making their way around this corner, and we could have some problems here for the side of St. Clair, but G-Scales will start us off, taking down Neon, and this payload is going to be contested here from both sides as G-Scales and Spikeball going to take down Bailable here now. JDX is low, and Spikeball is low as well. Those are 2 going in favor of St. Clair. Glizzcord answering back, doing some damage onto Apostle. Cheesy, though, going to take down Fried Chickenator, and this one is coming down to the wire here now, John.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it, though. St. Clair found those early picks in that fight, was able to clear most of Worcester off the point. Just going to be Glasgow left. He will be cleaned up, and that will be St. Clair taking game number 2 of this series and moving us into a game number 3. And I mean, honestly, I was kind of expecting a game 3 out of this series, but it's been a pretty good show so far. I really think both teams showing their strength here, and now going into the hybrid map, one team is one control, one team is one escort. Now it's the 2 melding into this 3rd map number, and it means that whoever wins this one really is going to take a huge advantage here in the Swiss bracket, and a 3-1 record, a lot better than 2-2.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting to see how everything actually does play out here going forwards into this next matchup between these 2 teams. But without further ado, I mean, St. Clair playing excellent there once it got to that building side, right? I mean, I thought it looks like WPI was rolling. They were actually getting their progress through, and they were on pace to, at least force an overtime here in this map number 2. But St. Clair does an excellent job at the very end near that staircase side to just not even allow that second point capture to come in and not allow this time to be regenerated for themselves as well. So beautiful play going to come in. It all started with the Fair Mercy, but we saw so many changes come through after that to really just work out to their comp, which is going to really what benefits St. Clair. I mean, adjusting to your opponent's comp is one of the hardest things in Overwatch, in my opinion. And to be able to do it on the fly is really something that will benefit St. Clair moving forwards. But map number 3, like you were saying, a combination of both these modes is going to be interesting to see who takes it.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a test for both these teams, try and see how they perform. And I mean, I think definitely St. Clair in that one able to use their ult economy really well. You saw there the last 2 minutes, they ended up not really finding anything too crazy. They just found 1 pick, and then Worcester didn't really know what to do. They didn't have an answer for it. They couldn't get it together. You saw there with a minute remaining, they all decided, okay, we just want a hard reset. We want to try again. But Bailable found a really huge pick there with about 45 seconds left, and it meant they had to try and reset, and then once they had to try and reset, it kind of all fell apart there. They found a pick or 2, but realistically, St. Clair, that last 2 minutes, they held it strong. They were able to stay together and find key picks when they needed to and force resets when they needed to, and that really was the difference maker. And now, going into hybrid here, don't know what map it is quite yet, but it should be interesting because I think both these teams, one on control, one on escort, have had strong performances, so we'll see who can take game number 3.
Yeah, we will see who can take game number 3 here for sure. I completely agree with you. Both teams did have pretty strong performances. I think that for St. Clair, here in this game number 3, the killer for them could be the control point. The control points is where St. Clair struggles a little bit more than the payload. St. Clair's very good at moving a payload along and along and along, but it is looking like they are very, very not good sometimes with the control points. They're definitely mediocre and can definitely get a good contest going, but they cannot waste too much time on this initial control point. That's the biggest thing I need to emphasize. They need as much time as they can for the payload. This control point needs to be getting captured on your initial 2-3 pushes.
Yeah, I definitely think this map isn't so bad when it comes to this first initial control point. I think definitely something, there's a couple other worse maps than this for this first control point. I definitely think it's possible for St. Clair. Try and push this. I don't know if they're on defense or attack quite yet.
It looks like they're on attack.
Yeah, they're on attack. So the key is going to be here, at least getting someone onto this point and getting Worcester off of this main gate, because if they can force this corner and try and get through and get someone on the flank, that will be really huge, because having to worry about your flank on this first control point makes it a lot more difficult for you to try and hold.
Yeah, but it does look like St. Clair is putting everybody head on here. Now for the gunfight, some big May walls coming through for both sides, just trapping a few of those players in between of them. As we do see a lot of this utility come on early on, but Nev and Fried Chickenator will be the first ones to find a few picks. Apostle, Baleable going to be falling. Cheesy D-Mech, Arjunk is already going down, and this one is falling apart for St. Clair very early on, as that's Cheesy and Arjunk both falling, as well as G-Scales here now. And this is going to be having to have everybody regroup very early on for the side of St. Clair. The initial push did not go, and this is what I'm talking about. They need to find one of these first few pushes to work out to allow themselves to have a good amount of time going forwards on the payload. We'll see what happens, but they are looking for now push number 2 and see if they can change anything.
Yeah, unfortunately there it just was a little bit premature there. Arjunk's Immortality Field didn't really save anybody, and as soon as that went down, it seemed like there was all this happening. But now the ult's coming through for both sides. Worcester going to pop a few of theirs. Window going to come through. That's going to mean they will push St. Clair back here. And again, St. Clair trying to find any kind of movement to the right side of the statue has just been shut down by Worcester. And now that you're on this third push, maybe you look to maybe try and find another hero. I mean, obviously you do have the JDX ultimate available here. Arjunk has the window up as well, and St. Clair trying to build towards it, but Worcester already popping a few ults. It looks like they will get theirs a lot sooner than St. Clair will as well. G-Scale is going to be the key here. Blizzard is going to come up here in just a second. Is going to be super important in this fight. Apostle, the first pick early on JDX here, who isn't able to pop that Deadeye. Absolutely massive. Baleable trying to find anything here. A big shatter. Going to find 3 for Apostle. Will end up wasting his life for it. Nev going to go take him down, but Cheesy going to be able to get Spike Ball. G-Scale's holding onto this Blizzard still. Arjunk going to take down one. Gliscor going to go down as well, and that means St. Clair will be able to take this control point and start escorting this payload forward.
About a minute and a half. That's not too bad to actually come through and cap that initial capture point. You wanted to call them hard points, man. Like, what is this, Call of Duty or something?
Oh.
Hey, but
are you like a Call of Duty caster or something? Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. But it is going to be the side of St. Clair able to now at least release this payload from coming through. And now we do see the movement starting to come in here as well. Baleable will start us off, taking down Fried Chickenator as they are looking to move forwards here with more of these May walls, though, disrupting the plans. Diva Bomb, actually, and I think that was stopped due to the May wall. And that's going to be Gliscor able to get 2 of it with it, being very, very valuable. But Baleable and Cheesy are not scared to answer back as G-Scales here as well to find Nev. And this is going to be St. Clair with 3 down, and this payload is looking to get moved even further. As look at this Diva just going in and doing so much damage. Cheesy has been a standout player here so far on this game, and he's continuing to do so.
Yeah, the key there was the fact that, yes, you did end up losing a couple members, but the window from Baptiste meant those headshots from both DPS from St. Clair were absolutely massive. They did way more damage, and it meant that those headshots able to take out those people from Worcester a lot quicker. And now that you have this momentum moving forward, you have the support ultimates available, no DPS quite yet. You see Worcester, Spike Ball has the Blizzard. Shatter going to come through for Fried Chickenator, but Baleable going to be able to flash Spike Ball out, not going to be able to pop that Blizzard. It means St. Clair going to keep moving forward. Your Cheesy going to be able to DMAC Gliscor as well, and St. Clair going to keep moving it forward here, win this fight yet again, and most likely we'll get this objective into P2.
Yeah, it's looking very, very good for St. Clair. They're moving this thing and moving it fast. If you can get it to P2 in literally like a minute and a half, that would be unreal. Like, 45 seconds, wherever it may be. And it looks like that's exactly what they're going to be doing. Over 4 minutes on the clock here now to just move it past this last little corridor here, being these like one bend around the corner, and then push it forwards, and you will have it nice and on that orange circle on the left of your screen there. But yeah, it is going to be Worcester Polytechnic though coming in, dealing with this one head on. That's 2 picks going in their favor, but look at the ults on St. Clair.
Yeah, they have a lot of them available here. They are going to most likely back off your way for Apostle and this reset to come through, but Worcester going to have a lot of their own as well. Neon will have his in just a second, so 4 ults, but 6 for St. Clair here. This is going to be a big push. If they can find a team wipe here and use some of those Worcester ults, Window's going to come through for both sides here most likely. Yeah, you're going to see Windows for both sides. Bibble not going to be able to find anyone. Deadeye going to come through as well for the other side. JDX going to find Apostle with it. Diva Self-Destruct going to come through, not going to find anyone quite yet. First pick going to come through for Spikeball as well onto Ubel. That means they will be able to push them back here. Not all the ults use St. Clair, still with a few available, but they did end up using 4 there and didn't get anything for it. They will be repelled back into their spawn, and Cheesy going to try and live here. Won't be able to quite yet. G-Skill's going to find JDX, though. It's a decent pick, but he will be able to respawn, and that's going to be the lot to St. Clair moved off at this point. Yeah,
That's going to be very good stuff there for the side of WPI to stalemate St. Clair here around this corner. But the thing is that you really got to keep an eye on is the clock. There is still 2 minutes and 45 seconds left to work with to try to move this one along forward, and that is a very much so going to benefit St. Clair if they can continue to move this one in. But Glizgor with another big Diva bomb will come through, actually not able to find anything, and Bailable going to take down Fried Chickenator. This is looking very, very strong for St. Clair here now as they find more and more damage inflicted. This payload going to be right alongside this corner. JDX going to get a headshot over onto Bailable, knocking him down and out of this one. Big contest over towards this payload side. G-Scale is going to May up in the ice wall, and that is now going to be Arjunk just trying to inflict damage from a distance. But overall, this is just mayhem.
Yeah, it's just everyone keep building up their ultimates. No one quite finding any kind of momentum yet. No picks coming through. St. Clair backing up a little bit, going to try and heal up here. Neon going to find Apostle, though. Spikeball going to find Arjunk as well, and St. Clair again going to be repelled, going to have to go back, try and reset here, try and find their spawn. And now with only 2 minutes remaining, this is when you start getting worried. You had over 4 minutes, saw there 4 minutes and 20 seconds, but now with that time cut in half, you have a couple ults coming up here. G-Skills, Blizzard, as well as Apostle Shatter going to be up soon, but it really seems like Worcester has been able to stonewall you every kind of offensive opportunity you can find so far.
Yeah, it's not looking good in that regard, right? I mean, you do have Bailable's ult actually coming in here now. The High Noon will be getting called as we do see him looking for it every can, but nothing really of value. It's now going to be Nev and Glizgor able to answer back with some more of their own. Bailable will take down Spikeball. That's a great start. Can you follow it up with more? We'll find out here right now, but all these Maywalls and this damage coming through from the side of WPI have been so good. These Diva bombs just constantly coming through from Glizgor as well. Going to make things extremely more difficult. G-Scales just icing back up here for the time being, as we do see Bailable fire away some shots from the distance. Apostle with the big one on the Nev, but with Bailable going down on the trade and Apostle going down, there are two very valuable players out of this one. Cheesy is good for a trade, and this payload is getting moved ever so slightly, but St. Clair is going to be forced off from this Blizzard, and it's not going to be easy here now.
Window going to come through as well on top shelf there for Arjunk. Does manage to find Spikeball, actually nice headshot. DPS Arjunk coming through here, trying to find another member here. Will force out the Lucio ult, but Nev going to take him down on the top shelf there, but Cheesy and G-Scale is going to find 2 more. Might mean St. Clair going to try and find some momentum here. Cheesy pushing forward here. Does have the Yubel ult to work with, and G-Skill's going to have the Blizzard coming up as well as Bailable's Deadeye, so they could try and push through here. They get it a lot further and closer to this final and third point here. 24 seconds remaining. St. Clair, a couple ults available here. Can they push this all the way through and try and find that third point?
Even if they don't push it all the way through, it's good to just get that extra distance. This big Blizzard and big Maywall coming in. JDX is good for 2. Yubo for a trade. Cheesy sending in some Diva util here as well, as it is going to be contested all mayhem towards this point. But this payload's moving here now, John. And we got a couple inches here once again. It is so close. We're in overtime. Trades all around. Spikeball good for a few. And this is now going to be all in favor of WPI. It's going to be Apostle here trying to save the day. But with Apostle going down, overtime getting ticked, but no, we have Bailable here and Quick on the Tracer trying to just keep this one alive for the Saints. Overtime getting ticked again. Nobody going to be close, and that will do it justice. That is going to be round number 1 complete. St. Clair with 2 capture points there and so much distance on the last one.
Yeah, unfortunately, with 4 minutes and 20 seconds, they weren't able to find that third point. Albeit this map, if you get stopped on this third point, it is very, very difficult to actually capture it. So the fact that they were able to get a pretty good amount of distance, almost get to that landing pad on that third point, pretty huge. But definitely a chance here for Worcester to answer back. And I really feel like St. Clair, when they started off, they were able to get that first point. They just brought that momentum all the way through up until they got halfway through this third point. But once Worcester stopped them, there just didn't seem to be any time where St. Clair was actually able to pull off these excellent fights. And you know, we saw a couple times there they had 4, 5, 6 ults, and Worcester with less ults were able to do more with the little that they had. And St. Clair definitely looking at this defensive side has to try and find a way to make that work for them as well.
Yeah, I think that they're looking just a little bit more uncomfortable here right now in this matchup because it's WPI coming through with this new kind of comp setup that they're just trying to see how they can utilize to stop, right? I mean, that's the big thing. It's like, how are we going down with 5-6 ults when they're only using 2, 3, 4 or whatnot, right? So, I mean, it's pretty interesting to see, but without further ado, we are going to be getting this one carried on here now with our game number 3, but our second half of game number 3, as we do have St. Clair on the defense, and we do have WPI looking to push in on the offense.
Yeah, trying to find some kind of momentum here. We saw St. Clair doing the same thing, going over to the right side of this statue. JDX going to find the first pick unavailable, though, very, very early on in this fight. A lot of DPS now down for St. Clair. Apostle's down pretty low. Will be able to survive for the moment here. Glasgow going to be frozen over. JDX going to find a headshot on the G-Skills, though. That's both DPS down for St. Clair. JDX finding Apostle as well. 3 headshots coming through here. Fried Chicken with a fire strike onto Arjunk. That is going to be the first capture here for Worcester almost instantly. And that's a lot of momentum going forward for them.
Yeah, and a lot of time. Because if you look at this one, they're going to have like, what, 4 minutes, 45 seconds here now, I think it is? I think it's a minute and a half that gets added on. So, yeah. Oh, no, it's 2 minutes or something like that. A minute and a half. Yeah, I don't even really know. But it's going to be 5 minutes and 30 seconds here now to move this payload for the side of WPI, which is going to really hurt St. Clair. Because now look at this. You have to slow things down for so long.
Yeah, you have a lot of time to work with. But this, we were talking about, this portion right here, able to find this first pick. This is going to be a really tough spot. This archway, again, one of those super tough spots in the map to get by if you are the attackers. If you get stopped here, it is going to make life very, very rough for Worcester Polytechnic. But they do have 3 ults available here. So if they get stuck, St. Clair only going to have the shadow for Apostle. So unless he goes crazy.
Apostle's just blind swinging.
I know, he's just sitting here trying to farm as much damage as he can. Trying to see if he can find anything. Shatter going to come through, but nice. Maywall is going to stop that one. Apostle not going to find anything with his shatter either, though. So both of these Reinhardts not finding anything with these shatters. So Blizzard going to come through, going to freeze a lot of members from Worcester there. That's going to mean Apostle with a couple of swings going to find 2 members of Worcester, and that means they will be forced back here. And St. Clair, Apostle finding a 3rd with a fire strike as well. Absolutely going crazy here in this fight. Will be forcing Worcester off, and now Worcester in a really bad spot because this archway, one of the roughest spots in the entire game to be if you're the attackers.
Yeah, at least St. Clair is burning off some of that time that they allowed WPI to get off the initial jump, but Spike, Ball, Nate, Eon, and Gliscor all going to have ults. Nev going to pop his as well, and now that's 3 ults coming down. Diva Bomb going to be dropping right after this one, but with all these players pushing back up on the stairs, that Diva Bomb not going to get as much use as I think we anticipated, as it's actually going to be Arjunk, Cheesy, and Bailable all finding their respective kills here. Now, Bailable good for another one here. Cheesy going to drop JDX, and that's a full team wipe for the Saints, and that is going to allow this payload to get moved back ever so. Actually, no, they're not allowed to move it back in this game mode, right?
No,
it doesn't move back at all. Okay,
it keeps moving forward. So we'll move back very, very slowly, but it's not going to be significant enough. Unfortunately, for St. Clair, they weren't able, despite the fact that they won that fight, the Gliscor actually hopped onto that point as Mini Diva and was able to move it forward out of that archway, which was the key because you saw how hard Worcester was working to try and at least get it out of that choke point. We're able to get it through, and that means they will be able to move this forward through the streets portion of the map. Shadow going to come through, not going to catch anyone with it yet, though. Immortality Field will come down. We'll be able to save a lot of members of St. Clair here. Won't be able to find any kind of momentum. Cheesy going to be frozen up here, but Cheesy going to find Fried Chickenator. Actually, Reinhardt going down early on. This main tank for the side of Worcester not going to be available now. That will be Nev trying to heal up his teammates, trying to keep him alive. JDX going to pop the Deadeye. Not going to catch anyone with it, though. G-Skill somehow still alive here. Blizzard available as well. We'll see if he tries to throw that one out here in just a second. Bailable with a nice punch onto Spikeball. We'll get that kill, and that will mean that Worcester forced back off yet again.
Yeah, so we do see it here now. St. Clair burning a lot of this time from the side of WPI, and that's exactly what they needed to do to really try to come through with a win here, because time is so valuable in Overwatch, just because it's only a matter of time until, you know, a defense breaks. It's only a matter of time until something happens, right? So it's really big to just limit how much time your opponent does actually have on the clock here today. So it is going to be St. Clair now actually getting very contested. Lots of damage getting inflicted. JDX going to come through and finds Apostle.
Does manage to find 2 picks there. Big shatter by the Reinhardt. Bailable going to get one back onto JDX, but it doesn't matter. They are able to move forward here. Trying to stop this one Bailable. A little cheeky stairway push there, but wasn't able to do enough. That means the second point will be captured. And St. Clair able to hold them up for quite a bit on the streets phase. Means they won't have as much time here on this last portion, but this is the toughest one. We saw how hard St. Clair struggled to push through this one in 3 minutes and 30 seconds for Worcester to try and get that payload a little bit further than St. Clair did and try and secure this game number 3.
Well, they have a little bit more time than St. Clair did here now, so that is going to be potentially a factor going forwards, as we do see Bayable, though, off to a nice one, taking down Aeon, but JDX will answer back with G-Skills following. Fried Chickenator finding Apostle. JDX good for another on Arjunk. I gotta talk about JDX for a second, because he's been a breakout player of this game. Yes, Cheesy, but Cheesy has to use an ult to trade him out, and that's the biggest thing. JDX, I feel like whenever he does fall, it's because he's getting forced out from several players at one time or an ult. Every one-on-one fight JDX has been in lately, he has just been finding these picks, and it's really been hurting St. Clair, as we now see 3 down for the Saints, and nobody really immediately on this payload, and that's going to allow this side of WPI to wrap it around this corner.
Yeah, they will not be able to get it quite here. St. Clair all going to be spawned up, all ready to push. You see them all there on the left side of your screen, getting ready to force this one as soon as this gets close to this end point. The window is going to come through. A nice Maywall is going to stop a lot of that damage. Ult going to come through for the Lucio as well, but Arjunk taking out Fried Chickenator here before the Lucio ult can come down does mean they are forced back here. Glycor going to take out that Immortality field from Arjunk, but no picks coming through just yet. But you see Worcester, because they don't have that main tank, they are forced back. JDX going down as well. Does mean they will be forced off this point. I want to talk about the most important thing. I think that was in that last fight, the 3rd time that Glycor had absorbed G-Skill's Blizzard. Like, Spikeball, it's just, he's blizzarding everywhere. Every single time it seems like he's able to get off these blizzards. G-Skills has just been stonewalled by Glycor this game. It's just absolutely insane stuff. JDX with a nice headshot on Arjunk, though. St. Clair not going to have the Immortality field for this blizzard. Deadeye going to come through. Cheesy and Apostle don't care, though. They find both members of the side of Worcester here. Spikeball going to find Bayable with the blizzard there, but Bayable going to get him back with that Deadeye, and it means that Worcester again forced off this point. 1.5 minutes remaining.
This could be interesting. I feel like it's really going to come down to the wire in this one here now, John, and we're going to see it all come into action here on this last little control point, or last payload movement area, as we do see a lot of shots coming in here now from the side of WPI. They are flooding into this St. Clair territory, and it is going to be so many reinforcements used here right now. That Maywall going to come in, and now we do see Ubel actually able to take down JDX. That's a very big start by Glycor with that Diva Bomb. Going to find 2.
Does manage to find 2 there. Self-destruct of St. Clair's own going to be popped here. Not going to find anyone, but Cheesy, meanwhile, does find Fried Chickenator while he's demeched. So that is a pick for St. Clair. Apostle going to take Glycor out of that mech as well. Apostle with Fire Strike going to find Nev. Bayable finding Neon as well, and it means that it will force Worcester Polytechnic off of this point. This will be the final push coming up here in just a second. Ult's coming through here. We're going to check on them real quick. St. Clair with Apostle Shatter as well as Ubel Sound Barrier. And the side of Worcester Polytechnic, you will have Spikeball and Neon, most likely finding theirs, but the rest of them don't have ults available here. So Bayable now with the Deadeye, as well as G-Skills working up towards this Blizzard. I think St. Clair in this final fight will have that ult, but Spikeball with a huge pick on the G-Skills to start off this fight. Shadow going to come through, though, and Cheesy Missiles going to find JDX. Will go down Immortality Field, not going to save him quite yet. Bayable with the Flashbang going to be able to take it down here. No team quite finding an advantage just yet. Both of them still fighting. Bayable, and meanwhile, does find Nev on the backline. Absolutely massive pick. Sound Barrier going to come through here for both sides. It means that both teams will be quite tanky here. Glycor going to find Bayable, and Spikeball going to find Apostle. The main take for St. Clair is going to be down. Blizzard going to be found for both teams. Not going to find anybody quite yet. G-Skills finding Glycor as well. That's going to be 2 people still on this point trying to move it forward. Cheesy trying to take out the one on point here. Does take out Fried Chickenator Nev with a trade on G-Skills. So both teams finding kills. Bayable popping the Bastion here in the backline. Going to find one. Absolutely huge pick here. Able to find the last 2 members of Worcester. And that's going to be it. OT popped here. Overtime could be done here just like yes, St. Clair going to be able to win this one out and take the series 2-1. Absolutely beautiful defense from them on that final push, and they will be able to win this series.
You know what also really helped them close out that final stretch was the fact that the payload got moved back around that corner. Yeah. The fact that it was no longer on the final stretch, it was moved back around a corner, and it made things a little bit different for WPI to actually go in and attack from, because St. Clair could hold it from a closer angle. They could go and hold it from that corner point, which really did benefit the side of St. Clair throughout this one, and a very, very close series here between these two teams, but St. Clair will just barely sneak by with this 2-1 victory, now advancing them to 3-1 here in the Overwatch Collegiate Championship Series. But man, oh man, John, what a game. I haven't seen an Overwatch game like that in... What a series. Yeah, what a series.
That was unreal, and I mean, it's got to feel really good for St. Clair too after just really losing really hard in that first series against Bay State. The fact that you come back here, you lose the first game on Control with 2 really close points. You say, okay, we got to turn it around, turn that mental around, take game number 1 and then take your game number 3, or game number 2 and game number 3 as well. The fact that you're able to reverse sweep the series, able to find that win, absolutely massive. Moving to 3-1 now, and you're moving into that top tier echelon of these people in this Overwatch Collegiate Championship, and it means moving on to the Swiss bracket next week, you're gonna have tough opponents, but the fact that you're able to come back and win this series, absolutely massive.
So when you go into that next week's bracket or next week's opponents or whatever it may be, you're going into this one. Yes, we're all 3-1, right? We're all a group of 3-1 people here. Yes. Who's your one loss to? Bay State. Okay, that makes teams a little bit more worrisome, right? Because when it comes down to it, yes, we are a 3-1 team, but our one loss is to the best team here, one of the best teams in the Overwatch Collegiate Championship Series. So with that being said, I think I'm very confident still with our 3-1 record. I still think we're gonna have a very good shot going up and competing against some of these other teams. But needless to say, I'm excited for this competition to be a whole new, different playing field every week. Because, the more you win, the better the teams you're playing against. The more you lose, the better you're around your skill or the better games you have or whatnot. So I just love the Swiss format, and I'm so happy to see it come here in 2 games a week to even make it even better. Because it's not like, WPI could be 2-0. They could be 2-2 right now going into this game, right? So for all we know, it's really interesting stuff. But St. Clair coming through, big win and a great series throughout the whole thing.
I want to point out, too, the fact that Game 1, and I talked about Game 1 on Control, the fact that twice, the reason that Worcester ended up taking that one is on those 99-99s, they had the better ult economy. They had, understood the fact that they needed those couple ults in the last couple seconds. But in that final game, St. Clair, just before that final fight, I pointed out 3 ults available for St. Clair, a 4th coming up soon. Worcester only had 1 available. So the difference maker was the fact that St. Clair had those ultimates on deck and ready to go meant that they found that first initial pick, and that support line went down really early, and that made the difference, and that really won them the series.
Well, it's almost like whoever had the more ults at the final last push of the game were closing it out. And we saw it in the game 1. WPI was able to do so, but then in the games 2 and 3, St. Clair answers right back, and they come through with a 2-1 win here. And I guess you could consider it a reverse sweep, but reverse sweeps and best of 3s aren't as dandy. Definitely consider a reverse sweep. St. Clair does answer right back, finding the last 2 maps and doing a great job here against WPI here today. I'm very excited to move on for more Overwatch going into the next week as well. Because I bet you this series is going to start to get really gritty going once we get to the top teams, right? When everybody's, you're going into next week, every team's 3-1 that you're going to be playing against, and that is not going to be easy by any means necessary. But without further ado, I think that does wrap us up here for today for the most part. We actually have no broadcast tomorrow as well. I'm not 100% sure what we do have on Monday as of quite yet. So it's going to be a lot going on here going forwards, but you guys can stay updated on all of our social medias. If you guys want to know when we go live or, anything else like that, merchandise, scores, updates, anything like that, we'll all be at Saints Gaming CA on all of our socials. You want to talk a little bit about our giveaway that's drawn on Monday here, John?
We're super excited about this one. We've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now. There are 3,000 channel points down at the bottom. You can get channel points by watching, by subscribing, by talking in chat, by interacting with us. The winner will be drawn on Monday, so you can get your entries in once per stream, 3,000 channel points per entry. Super excited. The winner will get any piece of St. Clair merch that they would like. We got a ton of it, and I mean, if you want to go look at it, we have it on the website, acquire.ca/saints. You can get yourself some merch there if you can't wait for the giveaway. So we have t-shirts, jerseys, sweaters, flags, masks, crew necks, anything that you want St. Clair related. We got it there, acquire.ca/saints. Go check it out. See what your winnings might possibly be. And got to talk about our sponsors as well before we go.
Yeah, I mean, Crunchyroll joining us here in September of this previous year, and it's going to be an awesome service here for any anime lovers or any anime users here, as it is essentially the Netflix of anime. Any anime show you could imagine you want to watch will most likely be on Crunchyroll, and even better, you guys can get a 14-day premium trial for free at crunchyroll.com/saints. So once again, crunchyroll.com/saints to get a 14-day premium trial for free to crunchyroll.com. But without further ado, thank you to our other sponsors, as well as would not be possible to do things without them. So thank you to the Tim Hortons, the Subway, the St. Clair SRC, the St. Clair College Alumni Association, and the St. Clair College Zeckelman School of Businesses. We would not be able to operate here without them as well, showing us the constant love and support. And thank you to all you viewers back at home, because this is what makes it so exciting to come in every day and hop on the mic and to engage with all you viewers back home. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and showing some love here to the Saints rosters. Without further ado, any final words here for this matchup here today, John?
Not really much. Really exciting series. All 3 games down to the wire. The fact that St. Clair able to pull it out and go through everyone absolutely massive. But I think that's going to pretty much wrap us up. Don't forget, giveaway is on Monday, so get your entries in the next 2 days so you're able to try and get that piece of St. Clair merch. I know everybody around here, all the production, I know you and I have some, I don't have any entries, unfortunately. We're working there. We're getting there, but I know you do. But everyone here trying to get in, definitely make sure you put in those 3,000 points to get it in before Monday. But I think that's going to wrap us up here. St. Clair going 1-1 on the day, now moving to 3-1 in the Overwatch Collegiate Championship. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for supporting us. We really appreciate it. But yeah, John Bill Bangs Udema, joined by Jackson Pryor Brown. Thank you all the production in the back for all you did today coming in. We appreciate you very much. And anyway, yeah, the viewers as well, we appreciate you, but that's going to be it. Thank you all for tuning in. You'll see us Monday. Possibly don't know the schedule. Most likely, though, will be on Monday. Make sure you check the socials for the giveaway as well. And yeah, have yourself a good day, good weekend, and love everybody.